which is my own. In fact, I am very happy because this is my subject, and that is organon. Yes, you have seen the smile on my face because I immediately talked about the organon and smile comes. Because organon is the base of the homeopathy, and that's why we have to understand organon right from its base. I will suggest that you must have a 6th edition of organon along with you, so that I can discuss lot of things regarding the organon and we'll go ahead with understanding of the organon. So if you see the book, on the first page of the book, this is my book, and it was purchased in 1984 or 85 when I was in first year, and it cost only 10 rupees at that time. I got 2 rupees concession at that time. So it's a good book. Still I am using the same book with me, and in fact I love it more, and that's why I cares for that book. I never gives it in the hands of students because I have to use it forever. It is written over there, The Organon of Medicine by Samuel Hahnemann, translated with preface by William Borick, Vigen Publishers, New Delhi. I generally starts explaining organon with the help of a first thing, what do you mean by organon? This is too important to understand what is organon. And what happens, we learn a lot, we give the exams and we don't know what is organon. Organon is nothing but a method of scientific investigation. This is mucked up definition with every student because it has been taught in the first year, and we keep this in our mind. Yes, organon is the method of scientific investigation. And then my next question is always that, what is scientific? And problem stops. Problem starts at that time because people never think what is scientific. When I put questions to my students, what is science? They are always remain in their mind. They say, how to answer this question? I ask that since when you are learning the science? This is right from first standard, or some students after second, third, fourth standard, but they started learning, but they don't know what is science. And that's why unless and until you understand what it means, then you never understand the organ. So science is nothing but when repeated experimentation found to produce the same results again and again, that experiment is called as a scientific, and then it becomes a science. So ultimately science depends upon the experiment, and that's why Hahnemann liked this method, liked this name, because organon itself means a method of scientific investigations, means a method of repeated experimentation coming to the truth is nothing but the organon. And whatever is there in this 6th edition of Organon of Medicine is nothing but the result of the truth, which happened after lot of experimentation since 1790 till 1843. Throughout his life, he suffered, or he has gone through n number of experiments, and ultimately coming to the maximum truth in his life is the 6th edition of Organon of Medicine. So ultimately, whatever is there in your hand is nothing but the truth which comes out after repeated experimentation. But what happened? We stopped with that, and we are following that 6th edition. And after so many years after Hahnemann, still we are following same without doing any new experiment. If anyone starts doing new experiment, we label he is not classical homeopath. We consider if we follow the Hahnemann, we are classical. I will say, or I will suggest that if you follow the path of Hahnemann, it is your duty to go for new experimentation. Think that if you try 2 medicines, what will happen? If you try constitutional medicine along with the mother tincture, what will happen? If you try constitutional medicine along with biochemics, what will happen? Let us see the results at least. Let us experiment what happens. But we never do the experiment. We are ready to criticize the others. without doing the experiment, without following it, without experimenting on the things, we are generally ready to criticize anyone. And my suggestion is always that it is your duty to go ahead along with Hahnemann, with his path, that to do a new experimentation. Try your level best to handle the pathological cases with different aspects, different views, understand different views from different people. Try in your own practice, and then you can go ahead. So when you have to learn the organon, basic thing is that first understand what is the meaning of organon. Organon is nothing but a method of scientific investigation. A method of scientific investigations means after repeated experimentation, if you comes to a very perfect truth, that is nothing but the scientific experimentation, and this organon is nothing but the truth which has Hahnemann have developed. So this is the first thing which is given. Then you open the book, and on the first page of the book you will find that again the same name, Organon of Medicine by Samuel Hahnemann, and two words, Ode Sapere, 6th edition, after Hahnemann's own written revision for the 6th edition, translated with preface by William Borick, MD. Introduction by James Cross, MD. These two words which are new on this page, Ode Sapere, plays a very vital role. Why Hahnemann have written? Everyone knows. If I ask what is Ode Sapere, I know that you will immediately tell me dare to be wise. But if I will ask what is dare to be wise, then you stop. He was wise enough to experiment, to fight against the situation, to come out with the new truths. Being an allopath, he worked against the allopath, or he worked against his own pathy, worked a lot, experimented a lot, coming to a certain truth, and he has that much of daring to tell this truth in the form of a written book in front of all allopaths. Right? If you will go through the introduction written by Hahnemann in this 6th edition of Organon of Medicine, it is written actually in the 5th edition of Organon of Medicine, which was translated by Dujan, and it is kept as it is. William Borick have not translated this introduction, and Hahnemann have not changed it from 5th to 6th edition. Hahnemann have made changes only in the text of the aphorisms, not with the introduction. So it is same as in whatever he has written in 5th edition 1833. If you go through this introduction of the Organon of Medicine, you will find that he criticized every system which was prevalent during his time, because he was wise enough. He has experimented, he has found the truth, and then he has explained the truth to the world, even criticizing the other system as a murderous game, or lot of words he has utilized boldly in this book without having a hesitation. And that's why when one is wise enough, one says the truth, it is always that he is there to be wise. And that's why on the first page of the book he has written Ode Sapere. Whenever I used to talk regarding the organon, whenever I used to go with the seminars, whenever I used to take the seminars of different topics like a biochemic system of medicines or mother tincture, I generally start seminar with the same words, because I used to do experiment, and whatever truth I used to get, I put it in front of others. I am not saying I am always right, but I am definitely saying that it worked with my cases. Let us try with your own cases. If it works, go ahead. If it never works, stop over there. So Ode Sapere is nothing but this is dare to be wise. So Hahnemann have written this Ode Sapere in order to the patient, to the people, that he was wise enough to have a confidence to criticize, and he has that much of daring to fight with the situation. Then below he has written over there, translated with the preface by William Borick. Yes, whenever William Borick have made a translation of the aphorisms, only the text, he has written preface. Preface means prastavana. Why it has been written? Because what changes he has made, or whatever he has written over there, how he comes to the 6th edition of organon of medicine and how he has translated, what are the differences between them, everything is written by William Borick in this preface, and that's why it is very important. So I will not go with the preface, but I will tell you few things regarding the preface. You must read every sentence of the preface. There are number of questions asked regarding the in the exams, and the next if you open the next page, there is translator's preface. It starts over there, and next page of this translator preface, there is a paragraph that following are the some of the more important changes noted in the final edition of this organon. And below that he has written the differences between 5th and 6th edition of organon of medicine. This is one has to understand. He has given every which aphorism have been changed, which aphorism have been completely rewritten, which footnote is completely rewritten, what are the thoughts, what are the different thoughts regarding the potency that have changed in this in the 6th edition of organon of medicine. Everything he has written over there. So it is your duty to go and read this paragraph, those paragraphs, so that you can understand exactly the difference between 5th and 6th edition of organon of medicine over there. Is it okay? So that we can go ahead. There, so it was written in 1921. So after Hahnemann died in 1843, and this 6th edition was ready when he was died. That same edition was published by his second wife of Hahnemann. At that time, William Borick was the person who has translated it, and that's why it is in 1921 in San Francisco, December 1921, he has written. Thereafter, open the next page. You will find over there the introduction, and this introduction is introduction given by James Cross to this 6th edition of organon of medicine. In fact, I will suggest that this this introduction is the most detailed and most scientific and most knowledgeable introduction written or read by me. Whenever I have read a number of books, out of them, this is the best introduction written by James Cross. You read sentence by sentence, and here he has highlighted on total Hahnemann's aspect, and he explains over there that how Hahnemann tried his level best to show that homeopathy is the only scientific system of medicine, and giving the reasons behind it, that this system, this is the pathy which is most scientific, and total reasoning how this is scientific, how this is logical, everything he has mentioned. Again, I will suggest for every student of homeopathy must read James Cross introduction. If you get obstructed at a certain levels, open dictionary, find it out a meaning. He has started with the 4 epochal figures in the history of medicine. So he has started from the Hippocrates, then he has explained about the Paracelsus, then he has explained about the Hahnemann. So all the 4 people who were most important at that time. So Galen also one more. And then he explains Hahnemann was most scientific because he explains over there, he was the only person who was experimenter. No one have experimented, but he was the only experimenter, and that's why whatever comes out in this book is the result of experimentation, and it is not just a thought, or it is not just idea which develops in his mind and he has written over there. It is not at all idea, it is whatever is there is absolutely a scientific experimentation. And then he goes in next paragraph, importance of diagnosis in homeopathy, that has been mentioned in detail. Then on next page there are 2 words, Tolle-Causam has been mentioned. Tolle-Causam चा आपण अर्थ असा लिहितो की cause of the disease. It is not like that. He has criticized allopathy, that allopaths, they were telling to the medical fraternity or everyone that they are treating the causes of the disease. But here he has not written like that. If you see that Tolle-Causam, it is always written with exclamatory mark. And Hahnemann explained, how can it be possible to know the cause of the disease? This is the Hahnemann's thought. No one can understand the cause of the disease because it is always dynamic, it is always hidden, and no one can reach to the cause of the disease. How can you say, how can you dare to say that you know the cause of the disease? And that's why it is a criticism against the allopaths or modern medicine people done by Hahnemann, and that's why he has written regarding this Tolle-Causam or Tolle-Causam. And there is two more 4-5 sentences after, there is again one sentence, Sizet effectus Sizet causa. Earlier line before that is written regarding it is remove the effects and you remove the disease, the cause of the effects. And this is what is given in the 8th aphorism. The removal of the totality of the symptoms means removal of the disease in its whole extent. This is nothing but the same, Sizet effectus Sizet causa. And this is the thing which Hahnemann mentioned. Instead of finding it out your talent to find it out a cause, it is better to find it out what the patient needs in the form of signs and symptoms. What is the state of the patient? Just judge, understand that state of the patient, find it out a minimum for that state and give the remedy instead of wasting talent to find it out the cause of the disease. And that's why Hahnemann have mentioned regarding this Sizet effectus Sizet causa. And thereafter, James Cross said that Hahnemann in his lifetime experimented and found out 99 medicines. He has proved himself 99 medicines. That is a big thing. A single person in the field of homeopathy have done such a work. And then everything regarding how this homeopathic system of medicine is thoroughly scientific, he has mentioned in his introduction. So next 3-4 pages, it is my humble request to every student, go through it, read sentence by sentence, and then you will understand the importance of these organon of medicine, that why this is important. James Cross have written it very nicely. In fact, most important book, most important introduction written by anyone in his lifetime. So he has written in September 1921 at Boston, and what he says over there, this is very important thing one must learn, one must go ahead. And thereafter, the author's preface to the 6th edition. That means the Hahnemann's preface is there to the 6th edition. Hahnemannची प्रस्तावना त्यांनी 1833 डेट आहे, पण ती चुकीची आहे बघा. ते प्रिफेस संपताना माझ्या पुस्तकात 19 पेजवर आहे. It is written at Cothen, March 28, 1833, but this is wrong. Below that, it is confirmed in Paris that it is 1843. So this introduction, Hahnemann explains that what he has written or what changes he has made and why this is so important to come out with the 6th edition, and everything he has mentioned. Thereafter starts the contents of the book. So what is given in the text of organon, what is given in the introduction, then what is in the text of aphorism, text of the organon, what is given in every aphorism, that has been mentioned over there. And after completing that, there starts the introduction to this 6th edition, introduction to the organon of medicine. And this introduction is nothing but the Hahnemannian introduction to this book, which was written in the 5th edition of Organon Medicine, and as it is there in the 6th edition. This translation was done by Dr. Dujan, and it is not done by William Borick. He has kept as it is, giving importance to the Dujan, that whatever have been translated by Dujan is in a very good language, and that's why Borick says that I have not tried to translate the introduction. It is kept in this book as it is. And what is there in this introduction is nothing but the review of the therapeutics, allopathy and palliative treatment that have hitherto been practiced in the old school of medicine. And this is really a review on different systems of medicines which were prevalent during Hahnemannian time, and every system which was even, that is old school allopathy, the antipathy, the isopathy, then there is a effects of all those, tautopathy was there, and the effects of all those things on the human body, giving truth and writing in detail what happens after using all those things, written in detail by Hahnemann. He has criticized a lot for all those systems, giving the reason behind that, explaining the logic behind that, and that's why to start with this book he has written Ode Sapere, because this review is really one must go and read, so that you will understand how Hahnemann, being an allopath, have criticized his own system over there in detail. So this is just an introduction to learn the organon of medicine, and it is not my duty to explain or read introduction and tell or teach each and every word in the introduction, but my suggestion always remains that you must go read introduction, find it out meaning of each and every word. You will get acknowledged with number of things, number of truths in your life regarding the other systems of medicine, and that will work for you forever. So this is a just introduction to the subject of organon of medicine. Are you okay with me? So that we can go ahead. So we have to learn now to the text of organon, and I will tell you the path how it is necessary to go ahead. I will not going to teach you every aphorism daily. We'll start with the first, and we'll go ahead how one must learn organon. Generally, when I start the first aphorism in the class, I take long time to discuss first aphorism, and I used to take a lot of lectures to discuss first aphorism, so that I revolve around the whole organon when coming to to complete or to finish the first aphorism. So open your book, open your first aphorism. And why this aphorism? Question arises, why it was written in aphorism style? During Hahnemann time, this was the style of writing the things in a paragraph way. In fact, the language, the English which was used, that there were as if one paragraph, the sentence starts at the start of paragraph, it ends with the paragraph. Number of times there are no two sentences in a paragraph, and this was the style, or this was the method of writing at that time. But if you will go through it, you will find it out in that aphorism. There are a number of things which are mentioned. The grammatical things are much more, which has meaning. There are number of commas, the semicolon, colons, or sometimes the inverted commas, number of things, then exclamatory mark. Everything has its own meaning. We never read organon like that. How do we read? We start with it, read the sentence, and finish. Yes, my aphorism is perfect. Now, just read first aphorism, which I have learned way back when I was in first year in 1986 or 85. The physician's high and only mission is to restore the sick to health, to cure, as it is termed. See, the physician's high and only mission is restore the sick to health. To health नंतर कॉमा आहे, टू क्युअर नंतर कॉमा आहे, आणि ॲज इट इज टर्म नंतर त्या ॲज इट इज टर्मच्या वरती एक रेष आहे, एक आकडा काढलेला आहे. असं वाटतं की हे खूप सोपं आहे. When I asked student explain the first aphorism, sir, what is there? It is too simple. One sentence. I asked, let us discuss what it means. They said, फिजिशियनचं मिशन असं असलं पाहिजे, गोल असं असलं पाहिजे की त्याने पेशंटला बरं केलं पाहिजे, परमनंट क्युअर केला पाहिजे. जसं सांगितलं तसं ऐकलं पाहिजे. दिस इज नॉट द मीनिंग ऑफ दिस. In fact, when you read the organon, every word has its own meaning. This is called as a philosophy of understanding the organon. What is there in the organon? There are the principles in the organon. And those principles, when you explain with the help of examples, common examples, day-to-day examples, it is called as a philosophy. ऑर्गॅनन म्हणजे तत्व आहे. त्या तत्वांचं ज्ञान होण्यासाठी ते वेगवेगळ्या उदाहरणांच्या साह्याने जेव्हा एक्सप्लेन केलं जातं, सोपं केलं जातं, सांगितलं जातं, मनावर बिंबवलं जातं, त्याला आपण फिलॉसॉफी म्हणतो. जसं एक आपण गीता शिकतो किंवा कुठली तुकारामाची गाथा असते त्याच्यावर प्रवचन घेतात, हे प्रवचनकार असतात. प्रवचनकार म्हणजे काय, ते आर ऑल्सो फिलॉसॉफर्स. त्यातला एक पॅरेग्राफ घेतात, त्याच्यावर ते तासन तास बोलतात. The same is true when you learn the organon. It is like that only. Every sentence has a very important meaning. Every word is having important meaning. I know that today it is not possible to complete the first aphorism at all. In fact, even not today, even tomorrow also. Because this carries a lot of meaning. I am not discussing it only for the practitioners. I am discussing it for the students. So sometimes it might happen that practitioners will get bored regarding the things. But basically, I want to tell you that just understand how to learn the organon. First, think about it. Why Hahnemann said the physician word? Why he has not said the doctor? No one thinks regarding it. Doctor is the person who knows regarding a certain thing, certain entity. Even the PhD holder is also called as a doctor, because it is the doctorate which has been given to him after working on a certain specific part of it. So PhD is given. If anyone works on any specific book, the PhD is offered, and he is also called to be a doctor. When you deal with the human being, and if you do a very specific word only on the one organ, you can get the doctorate. But basically it differs from the other homeopathy. Here we are dealing with the human beings. We have to deal human beings as a whole. Physician is the person who has the knowledge of the human being, who understands the human being. He is not a doctor to find it out, or to say that he is the doctor of a nose, he is the doctor of a throat, he is the doctor of a eyes, he is the doctor of a brain, he is the doctor of a heart. It is not like that. And that's why he is the person who is having thorough knowledge about the human being. A person who is having in-depth knowledge of the human being is called to be a physician. And that's why Hahnemann utilized very perfect words in his lifetime. In fact, he has written it in a very proper manner. Even if you go with the sequence, then you will understand the importance of it. That also I will going to tell you in this. But basically understand the physician word. Yes, very specifically Hahnemann have utilized. This is the word which relates to the physician person as a whole. Understanding about the person's physician, human mind, human dynamics, human material, everything regarding the human being. That person is called to be a physician. So this is too important to understand first word. Now we'll go ahead. The physician's high and only mission. Very important. Mission शब्द पहिला आपण अभ्यासून, then why it should be high and only. What is mission? Why not he said goal? Why not he has said the target? Why he has not said the aim? Why specifically mission? Mission is the word. If you know that missionary peoples कोणाला म्हणतात? जे त्यांच्या धर्माचा प्रसार करण्याकरता कुठलेही त्याग करायला तयार असतात. Those people was ready to leave everything and for their purpose of or going towards their goal or achievement, and they never expects anything against that. That is a mission. They devote their life for that purpose. When Hahnemann wants to say that if a homeopathic physician, he should have a mission. It should not be his aim to cure the patient. It should not be his goal to cure the patient. It is very small. Mission is lifetime mission. He has to work lifetime. He has to learn lifetime. He has to read lifetime. He has to learn human being lifetime. And that's why it becomes a mission. It's not for time being. I am practicing since last 29 years. 1991 I have started my practice, and today I am working. I am still learning. I used to spend 4 to 5 hours daily for learning. This is called to be a mission, otherwise it never remains a mission. And that's why very specifically he has utilized that without expecting anything. You don't have to expect anything. Whatever comes out, it comes out automatically. The reflection is always there. You get the fruit of it. It has been mentioned in Gita. Karmanyavadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. So you don't have to, you have to go on doing the karmas. Automatically you will get the fruit of it. There is no need to look after the fruits. Fruits will automatically you get. In my practice, I am satisfied because I am doing my work. At present, if you will ask, I am too satisfied, but I am not satisfied at one level. That still homeopathy is not reaching towards the root of the peoples. If you go to the villages or if you go to the peoples, number of peoples doesn't know what homeopathy is. It should be your mission to go and tell the patients tell the peoples what homeopathy is. And it is not possible that I alone can go for it and I will going to tell or teach the whole people. Unless and until we come together, we learn homeopathy, unless and until it becomes a mission for our mission, then and then only it is possible to take this homeopathy or reach this homeopathy towards such people who are ignorant about homeopathy. And that's why the mission word is very important. It is not a small word. It has a lot of meaning behind that. And Hahnemann wants to explain this should be, once you start homeopathic practice, it should be your mission. And not only he says mission, what type of mission? He wants to say it is high and only mission. शब्द फार महत्वाचे आहेत बघा. Every word is having meaning. High and only. Why? There was one practitioner who used to practice homeopathy along with his kirana, then along with some shop, another shop over there, and he is sitting in front in his cabin. Whenever there is a person comes in his kirana shop, he used to go over there. Whenever a person comes in another shop, he enters over there. Whenever patient comes to him, he sits in front of him. He was not able to concentrate and he was not getting the results because his mission was not there. He was not with a mission working for the patient, working for that sick, working for the human being. He is not able to concentrate on the things. Mission is always one and only. If you decide, yes, what you want to be and go ahead with that, it happens. You can reach to that destiny. It is only possible when it is high and only. हाय शब्द फार महत्वाचा आहे. हाय का? हाय म्हणजे काय? खूप उच्च. उच्च म्हणजे इट्स टू मच इम्पॉर्टंट. दॅट डोक्यात काय असलं पाहिजे? अरे आय वॉन्ट टू रीच टू दॅट. That is high and only one. I don't have two missions in my mind. There should be only one. And that's why Hahnemann says the physician's high and only mission. See, every word has a lot of meaning. This is with he starts. So, see, he explains what should be his mission in the first aphorism. And then in second aphorism, he defines what is his mission. Then in third aphorism, how he should be in order to achieve that mission. See the sequence. And it has been written right from first aphorism to 291 aphorism. If you will find it out sequence, the way he has written, you will find that sequence is very clear in those aphorisms. This is what you have to look for. And this is the, in fact, most important thing in Hahnemann's life. So first thing we have learned, the physician word we have learned the mission, and we have learned the high and only. So this is not a target, it is a mission only. Without expecting anything, he has to fight for the things, he has to go ahead with the things without even getting exhausted. You should not get exhausted. That is most important thing. When you are on mission, you should not get, or you cannot get exhausted. Once it is mission, you are always happy. Once it is target, you can get exhausted. This is the difference. There are a lot of ambitions in our mind, but if we will keep that ambition as a target, we sometimes get exhausted. Tomorrow we'll go with that. If it is a mission, we go for it without stop. Unless and until that is finished, we never stop. And this should happen. It should be like aurum metallicum, aurum personality, the industriousness aurum of the aurum. It is continuous. Unless and until he completes the work, he never stops. That should be a physician's mission. See the next few things. The physician's high and only mission is to restore the sick to health. आता रिस्टोर हा शब्द आपण बाजूला ठेवू. त्याच्या अगोदर सगळ्यात महत्त्वाचा अख्ख्या ॲफॉरिझम मधला शब्द आहे द सिक. अंडरलाईन दॅट. केंट हॅज रिटन वन होल चॅप्टर रिगार्डिंग दिस. पूर्ण चॅप्टर लिहिलाय. कशाच्या बाबतीत लिहिलाय? द सिक. अँड इन फॅक्ट इफ यू विल अंडरस्टँड दिस कन्सेप्ट, then you will understand how to treat the patient, how to treat the patient suffering from any disease in your OPD. If you will understand this concept, this is written in the first aphorism only. And that's why what do you understand by the word sick? The sick means their person as a whole is sick. Simple language. This is what we used to learn. The person as a whole is sick. But where is the person? What is that person? What is that you have to understand? So first important thing is that what is that in sickness? What is there inside that person, inside that human being? That you have to find it out. And that's why when you read the Kent's lectures or first chapter, The Sick, there is one sentence comes again and again. There is always something prior to it. There is something prior to the disease. There is something prior to it. And what is that prior? That is nothing but the vital energy, the vital force which happens to be there in the human being. That principle which enters inside the human body whenever the fertilization takes place, which gives the animation to that, and thereafter it starts growing, thereafter it starts developing, the infant develops, the fetus develops, then it becomes an infant, it comes out of the womb, it becomes gradually and it starts developing. What is that? It is nothing but that principle which enters at that time, and the energy starts liberating over there. It starts from the center and then it develops. So if you think about the fertilization whenever it takes, it is a single cell. It is in fact one fertilized cell, and it grows outside. It grows outside. It is within outward. The development is within outward, and that what was there at the center, because of which this growth starts. This growth is not that you have attached the extremities, you have attached the head, you have attached the lower extremities, you have attached the abdomen. It is not like that. It grows from a single cell, fertilized cell, zygote, and it starts developing. And how it develops? It first defines the function to every cell. It defines the function, and after function the cell is converted. When it starts developing, growing number of cells, every cell has defined, yes, you have to perform this function, and function creates that specific organ. First function comes, and then gradually the organ comes, the organ develops. Accordingly it changes, and that's why law of biological development which is given over there is nothing but function creates the organs. So functions are first, and then the organ is developed. And when you understand this function creates the organ, so it starts from center and then it develops. So definitely, if the health develops in this manner, if the growth happens in this manner, if the evolution happens in this manner, then definitely sickness also happens in this manner. So, in order to understand this sickness, first you have to understand the next word which is given thereafter, and it is called as a to health. Health हा शब्द समजला तर sickness कळेल. So what is health? We'll go ahead and then we'll understand the sickness, and then we'll enter into the sickness. What is health? If I will ask you definition, what is health? You will definitely going to tell me a organ and definition, or someone might tell you a PSM definition. Everyone mucks up definition. When there is a trinity of life, that is mind, body and soul, runs in a perfect harmony with the help of a vital force, we label that person as a healthy person. But when I ask what it means, then question arises. Then we never understand what is harmony. Then we never understand the concept of a soul. Then we never understand the concept of a body. Then we'll never understand the concept of a mind. And what is the trinity and what is the harmony between them? For that purpose, it is too important to understand both the aspects of the human being. Material aspect of the human being, at the same time the dynamic aspect of the human being. So body is the material, the physical aspect of the human being. Unless and until there remains or there enters a soul, the principle, it is not possible to get an animation to that body. So without soul, you cannot consider the human being. So soul is most important, which also labeled as a principle, vital principle, which enters inside the fertilized egg, and then it gets the chance to develop. Otherwise, it remains as a blighted ovum. See the concept, very important. The soul should enter from outside. It is not coming from inside. Soul enters over there. There is only a fertilization. Unless and until this soul enters over there, it never starts growing, never starts maturing, or never starts dividing and further development, unless and until soul enters. So soul is one of the principal important thing without which you cannot consider human being. Then remains two things. Now there remains the mind and now there remains the body. You have to consider both of them. You have to understand both of them. Body everyone understands because it is visible. Mind very difficult to understand because again it is a dynamic. So we have to understand this dynamic mind, which every aspect. The first important aspect, if you want to divide the mind, you divide mind into the two parts, the internal mind and external mind. Then question arises, how you have divided? It is the logic which you are utilizing to understand the mind depending on the cause and effects. So ultimately the study of a mind is always developed on the process of cause and effects. So one comes to this conclusion, yes, there is an internal mind and external mind because he has the mind. Basically, it happens because he has the mind. That's why he is able to think. That's why he is coming to certain conclusion. So internal mind is the inner conscience, and which we have discussed earlier, that is present with each and every human being. Now remains the question of external mind, and that external mind is nothing but with which we generally remains forever. It consists of three important things. According to Dr. J.T. Kent, we understand mind from three different aspects. First important, most essential aspect of the human life is nothing but the intellect and understanding. That is first important, most important. Second important is, first important is that will and emotion, will and emotion, most important. Will is there, that's why the human being is there. If will is not there, we are no more. In fact, we comes to this human life because we had will. That is the result we are here. And we are here discussing homeopathy because we have the will. And it is not only the will, it is emotions also along with that. Will and emotions, both are very important. Then second important is intellect and understanding. Emotions is part and parcel of human life. It is expresses throughout the body language, on the face, the countenance it expresses, and that's why it has a meaning. In fact, that is most important aspect of human life because of which human communicate. Everything expresses on your countenance, everything expresses through your body language, and that's why one has to understand all those things. So this is a first important part of the external mind. Second important part is intellect and understanding. What is an intellect? I ask the questions to the student and they stops like this, they looks like this. They cannot answer. I generally say the thing which is absent in homeopathic student is called as an intellect. Intellect is the faculty of a brain which with the help of a logic and a memory comes to a deduction or a conclusion is the part of the brain called as an intellect. This is very important. It is a faculty of a brain which with the help of a logic and a memory comes to a conclusion or a deduction is called as a intellect. Intellect is more important than a memory because if it is there, you can do anything. You uses a logic, you utilizes your memory and you can find it out solution for the thing. This is second part of the human mind. And understanding is always based upon the intellect. And that's why understanding is nothing but the perceiving the situation. So these comes more, or these cases are more important. And third point which he explains is nothing but the memory part. Memory is one part where everything gets saturated or you keep over there. And this consists of the human mind. There should be correlation between the human body, human mind and a soul. Because of soul there is correlation. Soul is there, that's why we are alive. That's why there is a correlation or we are animated. And then there should be a correlation between mind and body. But what is that mind and body correlation? What is that harmony? See, you uses this harmony every time. Even though if you are present over here, because of your mind you are here. Your body is listening, you are sitting in front of a mobile or a laptop because your mind is in body is in harmony with your mind. What your mind thought is followed by your body, and that is what is called as a harmony. So this harmony when runs in a perfect trinity, but who maintains this harmony? It is throughout the life. It maintains. Who is that? Unless and until we consider logically, we cannot come to the conclusion. We have to understand what is that something is there because of which this harmony is maintained between mind and body. And then when you think a lot, comes to a conclusion, then you come to a certain conclusion. This is something which is nothing but the correlation. It is nothing but the something to which we have to label by the name of a vital energy or a vital force, and which governs this correlation between the mind and body. See, this is too important to understand. This harmony, till it is maintained, everything is going on fine. What is the function of that vital force? It tries to preserve your state of health. It tries to preserve or maintain that balance. So even though you carry the emotion, every time you never get ill. Something happens in your life early in the morning and you get disturbed. You remain disturbed. Next your friend comes, you say, he asks, what has happened? Why you are like that? He is a good homeopath who pursued the state that you are not well. And he talks with you. After some time, next day you are again normal. How you are normal without medicine? Only because your vital force, vital energy brings back you again to the normal, and that is the basic function of your vital force. So this is health when your mind, body and soul runs in a perfect harmony with the help of your vital force. You remains in the state of health. And when this harmony is break down because of disturbance of a vital force, it expresses in the form of some signs and symptoms. Then we call that you are diseased at that time. So sickness comes whenever there is something happens prior to it at the level of a vital force. Then and then the person becomes ill. So sickness happens to be there inside. It never comes from outside. There are n number of factors which are responsible to disturb that internal vital force, and because of which if it disturbs completely and it doesn't have a strength to come back again, then and then it expresses in the form of signs and symptoms, a disease comes, then we label that this fellow who was healthy now becomes sick. I think this concept of health and sickness will stop over here. I know that already 1 hour and 15 minutes have been passed. Tomorrow we'll continue with the same aspect in tomorrow's lecture, because it takes long time. We'll revolve around the whole organ while going through the first aphorism only. Then you will understand the importance of it. Then you will understand practical importance of this aphorism. I will going to tell you the clinical experience, how this aphorism is useful from clinical point of view. But unless and until this theoretical aspect is clear, it is not thing that you should go immediately with the clinical aspect. You should be very clear regarding all those concepts of Hahnemann in the aphorism, and then we can go ahead with the clinical aspect. So tomorrow at the same time at 2:30 we'll meet again at the in the same platform with further reading of the understanding of the organum. Till that period, thank you very much to all of you, and I will suggest again one more thing, that today evening on the big platform by Dr. Karthik and the Bahula International Group, they have asked me to deliver a lecture regarding how to understand Allen's keynotes, and it is a good reached with the lot of cases. I will going to present at 5:30. I have sent the message in the group as well as on Facebook. Those who want to join that, they can register for it. Without registration, there is no entry for that seminar. You can register and you can listen that aspect. And second important thing, those who miss the lecture, it will be uploaded in our channel, that is the YouTube channel, Dr. Prasad Rasa the Divine School of Homeopathy. So anytime you can go through it, subscribe the channel, ask your friends to subscribe, and read more and more and learn more and more regarding the homeopathy. Until that period, all the number of practitioners, number of good practitioners, colleagues who are there in this group discussion, thank you for attending today's session. Thank you for all of students being there over there. And then tomorrow we'll go ahead with the same thing, same aphorism. It will take another 1 hour at least minimum to go through it. So thank you very much to all the students. Let us join at 5:30. We'll meet. Thank you.